What is up, guys? Welcome back to episode 7 right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. This is the Hockey Edmonton Show. I'm YouTube Trev, and as always, Jeremy Haluschak is beside me. Jeremy, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I can't complain. It's a beautiful day, and we'll for those listening on Saturday, we are leading into hopefully a great day of hockey. So,
Yep.
and how are you doing?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been a pretty hectic day here at the studios. It's been pretty good. We're having some tech issues, which happens, but it's okay. And it's been really good. I've had a good week so far. Hockey's back. That's kind of what we talked about last week. This week, we're going to be talking about female hockey in Edmonton. And right away here, we will be joined by Aimee Skye, who is the chair of Female Hockey Alliance. So we'll bring her in just right away here. That'll be awesome. We're going to be shedding some light on that. But it's been a good week. Cannot complain. If you're new to the Hockey Edmonton Show, as always, drop a comment down below as we do read every single one. And leave a like. It's your best way of showing the support. But with that out of the way, shall we get this thing started?
Yeah, let's bring Aimee on.
Joining us now, we have Aimee Skye. Aimee, how the heck are you doing today? Thank you for joining us.
Really well. Thanks so much for having us.
Awesome. Yeah, no problem at all. Aimee is the chair of the Female Hockey Alliance, and that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. So right out of the gate, just introduce who you are and tell us what you do.
Yeah, so probably I'll spend more time on what the Female Hockey Alliance is rather than me. That's a much more exciting topic.
For sure.
So the Edmonton Female Hockey Alliance is now the one-stop shop, really, for female hockey in the city of Edmonton. It's pretty exciting to be where we are. 2 years ago, Hockey Edmonton really got behind the vision of wanting to really get behind female hockey, to collect it and organize it, and help resource it and drive it.
Awesome. Might have had another connection issue there.
I think Edmonton has existed in Calgary's shadow for quite some time when it comes to female hockey. Calgary has an exceptional and really well-regarded female hockey program, and we've sort of lagged behind over the last 10 years or so. And a big part of the solution to that and the evolution and growth was really collecting all of the female players in the city of Edmonton and creating an organization that takes that collection and starts to drive it forward. So that's the vision and the mission of the Female Hockey Alliance that started, I guess, about 2 years ago now, in October, November, a couple of years ago. So we started operating last year with a group of U13 players and a couple of high-performance U9, U11 teams. And this year we've got all ages and ranges from U7 all the way up to U18, both tiered minor hockey and elite teams. So we've grown substantially in the space of 1 year.
Awesome. So yeah, you had mentioned it's very new since 2023. Why now? Why is this something that you guys have focused on bringing in now? Like, obviously it's a good time, but I'm just curious as to why you guys got it started.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the writing's been on the wall for maybe 5 years or so. If you look at registration rates in minor hockey, what you see is generally growth in the female side of the game. And sometimes what you see in the co-ed side of the game is either stagnant numbers or slightly declining numbers, actually, depending on where you look geographically. So we know that interest in the female game is growing. We know that there are more and more players. We know that, outside of minor hockey, for example, if you look at the PWHL, now there's a lot of fanfare and opportunity. There's a lot of places where females can see that they have opportunities outside of their region, that they can sort of push for and strive towards. We see a lot more attention to things like the female game in the Olympics. They get some of the highest rates of viewership, even sometimes more than the male Olympic teams. So the timing is really just right for, I think, for us to really recognize that there is a half of Canada that really legitimately should have access to Canada's game, and it's sort of high time that we grab the bull by that horns and drive that forward.
No, definitely. And, you checked off a few of the introduction boxes here. With this new concept here, what are the benefits of participating with the Female Hockey Alliance, and how does that concept really provide a better participant experience for females in the game?
Yeah, I think, there's a number of benefits that I could describe from both the player level and the team level, and then what athletes take away. So it certainly is the case that there are female players who play on co-ed teams, and some of them will tell you that they had great experiences doing that. On the whole, I think when we think about female sport and female participation in sport, there's a couple of things to really be mindful of. Sometimes tend to lose females in sport, and not just hockey, but in lots of sports, around the time that they hit sort of early adolescence, 13, 14, 15. That becomes a difficult time socially. It sometimes becomes a difficult time integrating in team environments, both for males and females. And so one of the keys to retaining females in sport is creating environments where they can play on all female teams, um, where you don't have some of the same social challenges around confidence. It makes a big difference to how they play the game, right? If females are playing on an all-female team where they feel just as legitimately part of that team as anybody else, they often demonstrate more confidence and sort of bravado and skill on the ice than they might do if they were a minority player on a co-ed team. And when you look at the recipe for excellent sports teams, it often comes down to skill, and it comes down to competitive play and outcomes, and some measure of success, and it comes down to relationships. Those are three sort of really key ingredients when I think if anybody looks back at an excellent team experience they had, those three things were sort of all clicking together. And the same thing is true in female sport as well as co-ed female sport. The relationships are really key, and when you have the relationships, the rest of it comes along.
Awesome. Yeah. So Aimee Skye joining us right now on the Hockey Edmonton Show, chair of the Female Hockey Alliance. I'm curious about the model. Is this a unique model, or are there other organizations that have a similar model to your guys' approach?
I don't think it's a unique model. As I said, Calgary has had an exceptional female hockey organization for some time. And there are other organizations locally. So Sherwood Park Fusion, for example, St. Albert Minor Hockey has a female side to it. The one thing that is unique is that the Edmonton Female Hockey Alliance is all about female hockey. So we don't have tension in our organization where we're, sort of constantly fighting, resourcing both co-ed and female hockey. Many organizations experience that tension, and it creates some challenges. So we're all about female hockey, and I love the fact that we can just think about how we resource that.
No, definitely, and it is like you said, girls hockey Calgary has been a successful program for a long, long time, and again, modeling this is definitely beneficial for our participants in Edmonton. So, transitioning a little bit to the development now, because that's what we're here for. And so, what can
Yeah.
participants experience or expect development-wise, starting at the elite program level?
So there's quite a bit that they experience developmentally. This is the first year that we have worked with and onboarded a director of development. So this is an individual who comes with an exceptional degree of hockey background and hockey knowledge, playing, coaching, facilitating, organizationally. And we've really charged them over this year and next year with coming up with the developmental programming for our elite teams and then our community teams. And it looks like lots of things, right? So opportunities for goalies to come out regularly and receive development and training with specialized goalie coaches. Often we hear that goalies are a sort of forgotten piece of hockey teams when we're thinking about getting them out there to skate and develop. It looks like working with particular providers. So at the elite level, we've sort of created a 3-year partnership with Competitive Thread, who come out and they do all of our evaluations, and then they resource a lot of our development at the elite space. As well as some of our other teams. And one of the features that we're really excited about with Competitive Thread is that they really are pushing more into the female development and female training space. So it's a really nice nexus between an organization that is all about female hockey and providing female hockey, and then a development partner that really is pushing into the space of wanting to prioritize female development. We see that with they bring females out onto the ice. Right, they recruit high-level female coaches, and that's where our players are seeing. I'm a big proponent of you are likely not to push yourself in places where you don't see yourself. So it's really important to make sure that females have strong female role models out there, both at the elite side and at the community side, when they're out there playing and learning to love the game.
Perfect. And so what can people expect in terms of commitment wise for both the elite and the community programming? Because we talk at Hockey Edmonton about, we have a place for everybody to play. So help people understand that, yeah, you know what, sometimes we get into that habit of, painting hockey with the elite paintbrush, but that's not always true. And again, you folks are doing a wonderful job here of integrating the community program this year as your first year of really integrating the entire system, but doing a really good job there in getting good community programs going as well as your elite programming. So yeah, if you can touch on that for the people listening.
The community level is really, it's an important one. Obviously, that becomes the base from which you're going to develop some elite players, right? So to any organization that neglects or forgets that base, I think they do so at their detriment. The majority of our players would be at the community level. And so for us, it's really important to start getting females into the program right at U7. Hockey is a bit of an anomalous sport. So if you think about just about any other sport, you start out with male and female groups. If you play soccer, there's male soccer and girls soccer. Play basketball, there's girls basketball and boys basketball. Hockey's a bit of an odd duck in that regard, in that, many places just offer hockey, which tends to be co-ed, and then at some point, females split off. And so I think if we're really serious about trying to recruit females into the game, whether they just want to play for fun and recreation or whether they want to play at an elite level, you've got to capture those females right when they are ages 4 to 7 into that female stream. Get them excited about the sport, get them loving the sport, get them loving, their coaches and their teammates, and then you just drive upward from there.
Awesome. Sorry. I didn't mean to cut you
Yeah,
off there.
no. So, commitment level is, it's the extent of a season, and the costs that are involved in running the season. We are, for the first time this year, with the support of Hockey Edmonton, running a learn to play team as well, so that we can onboard females who might be, in the ages of sort of 11, 12 up to 18 into the sport, and give them some opportunity to learn some basic skills, to learn about the game, and have some fun playing some hockey. And then hopefully that onboards them right into full team experiences next year.
Awesome. Aimee Skye joining us now, chair of the Edmonton Female Hockey Alliance. You mentioned recruiting earlier. I'm just curious, how are you guys going about recruiting female athletes and the coaches?
A lot of it has been reaching out to networks that we have, right? So we now have about 750 players, which means that we have a bigger network than we had last year. We use a lot of social media tools to advertise what we're doing, look for coaches. We look to our partners at Hockey Edmonton and other clubs. And a lot of it also is going into things like the AFHL, which is the Alberta Female Hockey League, looking to some of the coaching development and coach contacts that they have. We do what we can to work with our partners at Hockey Alberta to run things like female coach clinics, female officiating clinics, so that we can start to develop some of that base. Last year, we ran a female coach clinic in October and pulled in coaches. Some of them came from probably a couple of hours drive away so that they could attend an all-female coach clinic. And we were very lucky that it happened to be the Heritage Classic weekend, and Hockey Edmonton really facilitated, and the OEG facilitated having Sarah Nurse come and talk to those coaches about the value of really good coaches and really good female coaches. So that was a pretty cool experience for that group.
Yeah, definitely a lot of investment in female program from a Hockey Alberta side. From my time there, I've seen kind of the evolution of it, and again from the female league to dedicating resources specifically for female programming and coach development. It's there's that investment that's definitely paying off. And you just touched on it a little bit here about some of the coach programs that are offered. So again, we've highlighted those over the last few weeks, but we'll also have Stephen Pattison on next week to talk about Hockey Alberta's coach development programs. When we're talking about coach development in the Female Hockey Alliance, what are some of the initiatives that that you folks are doing over there for developing your coaches? Because again, we talk about how the coach is the most important pillar in the participant's experience at the end of the day.
Yeah. I think one of the things that we are really interested in taking advantage of this year is the fact that we now have every single age group in the organization, including our U22 Junior A Wolves team in the organization. So it provides us a lot of opportunity to create a kind of laddering program where we can take some of those older players, maybe they're the U22 Junior Wolves, maybe they're U18, U15, and bring them down, connecting them with some of our U7, U9, U11 teams. They may only come out to a handful of practices over the season. But again, it provides that opportunity for younger players to see older female players that are out on the ice with them, provides them a sense of role modeling, and it provides just a bit of diversity in the voices and people that they're seeing out on the ice, helping them learn to love the game. We're also looking for our director of development to take a group of female players who are really interested in coaching and try to work with them in developing, for example, learning what a practice is supposed to be for. What should it be like? How would you develop one? What are the things that you think about? How would you actually go out and execute one? So that we can take those players who are really interested in coaching and put them out with our younger teams for a practice where they might be a guest coach, for instance. I think that's sometimes we find that players don't think about coaching until their playing career is done. And it's great that they think about coaching when their playing career is done, but it would be even better if they started to think about coaching while they're playing, right? In the same way that we like to see people think about officiating also while they're playing.
Yeah, that's awesome. You mentioned the growth that you've seen, albeit the 2 years, but you have seen substantial growth, which is just awesome. How is the FHA itself contributing to growing the female game and encouraging female athletes to play the game as well?
Yeah. So we work with just about everybody we can to try to help any initiative we can find to grow the game. So one example is that Scotiabank is a partner of ours. They are our banking provider, but also a partner of the Alliance and have been since the inception. So we work very much with them to try to populate their Girls Hockey Day that they run in February. We worked with them last year to try to populate some initiatives and really find players for them at particular ages who might not have the opportunity to learn to play hockey. Because last year there was an interesting partnership with CCM who was providing gear for players to keep. So we really wanted to find the right players who really would take advantage of and really were in need of those opportunities. We apply for grants with Hockey Alberta, and so we just received one that will be running an event the weekend of November 1st to 3rd, which is really just a Learn to Play initiative, part of World Girls Hockey International Week. So an opportunity to get some female players out, get them sing a little bit about what it feels like to skate around with a hockey stick and create an opportunity where if they're interested after they've come out, they can join this Learn to Play team. We have last year we had a Female Hockey Day celebration, so we had a really exciting opportunity to go to a north side outdoor rink in Roslyn. It's a wonderful little community league with a great outdoor space. And we ran a game between our two U13 AA teams that was very much like the Heritage Classic. So it was a kind of outdoor game in celebration of Female Hockey Day. We called it the Heritage Classic, which was really fun and exciting. And so we'll be running or looking to run a kind of full day of events in celebration of Female Hockey Day this year at that same facility, or perhaps in another one if we outgrow that facility. We're looking to put in a bid to host Female Hockey Day next year. So there's lots of things that we are in all of the ways that we can partners and friends with both those in the hockey world and outside of the hockey world to really socialize and grow attention to the female game.
No, definitely a lot of initiatives there to, again, encourage people to try the game, females to try the game. So, again, and that's always great because we want to see people participating in this game and growing the game that is so dear to all of our hearts. Going back to one of the other development questions here that, you folks have a little bit of a unique program that you're doing in terms of helping those kind of in that in between, the elite and the community program. Do you want to touch a little bit on that and just highlight again some of the flexibility and in the programming that you're offering here? I think it's definitely a unique opportunity here, and like I said, just highlights how again, we have a place for everyone to play, and again, our good community programs and partners are, really finding unique ways to meet the needs of development of any athlete. And again, in this case, the female athletes.
That's such a fun initiative and a story I always like to tell. So one of the challenges is always trying to make sure that you can provide the right level of programming and development and competitive play for athletes that cut a wide range of ability. And so last year we sort of saw the writing on the wall and knew that we would have groups of players who were looking for a larger development commitment and higher competitive play than what they might have been able to access historically. So we, for the first time, have placed an all-female team playing in the co-ed stream and non-body contact at U15. I don't think we've seen an all-female team play historically in that space. But we needed to provide them an awful lot of development to reach the level of competitive play that they were looking for. And in order to do that, we needed ice. And so we partnered with a small town called Holden. It has a commercial kitchen, it has a classroom. And so we've secured using that facility 12 or 13 times over the year so that we can take this team out, we can develop them on and off the ice. We bring our providers out, Competitive Thread comes out, other providers come out. And we spend the day there really working with them as a team, keeping them coherent and collected as a team on and off the ice. And it's really been a kind of wonderful story. I think we're, given the success of this model, we're looking probably to try to implement doing that at U13, 15, and 18 next year.
Awesome. Aimee Skye, chair of the Edmonton Female Hockey Alliance, joining us right now, right here on the Hockey Edmonton Show. If you like what you're seeing, as always, drop a comment down below and leave a like. Just curious, you might have touched on this a little bit earlier, but what are some of the benefits of participating with the Female Hockey Alliance?
I think the benefits are a number of things. So first of all, females get to play with other females. And that's a space that sometimes female players don't find in hockey. When we go, for instance, to outlying areas, there are female players, but they don't have the opportunity to play on an all-female team. And that creates an entirely different social experience for female players, both on and off the ice. Creates an entirely different bond that female players experience on and off the ice, and that really contributes and feeds into the team experience. I think it gives players and families an opportunity to be part of something that really is groundbreaking, right, in the city of Edmonton, and that really has sort of big dreams, big vision. I would love to see us be one of the largest hockey organizations in the city, and I think if we keep pushing at the rate that we have been, we'll be on target to be there, in 2 or 3 years. One of the other things that we find in Alberta, and actually I would say neighboring provinces as well, particularly in the northern parts of Alberta, BC, and Saskatchewan, there are not as many opportunities for female tournaments that are running. So Wigfest is a great big one that's obviously pretty well known in Calgary, and they have a satellite tournament that runs in Surrey. And there are some other tournaments that run in and around Calgary for female hockey. Far fewer of those opportunities run in the north side of the province. And that's one of the other things that we would like, to sort of see as a 5-year plan and 5-year measure of success, that we really are running a well-regarded and sought-after female hockey tournament that suits, and really draws in northern Alberta, draws in Saskatchewan, draws in BC, maybe even Manitoba, because there are a lot of female teams in those areas who are just scrambling for tournaments, and we need to be able to provide those opportunities. I think it does a lot of good for the players and the teams, but it also does a lot of good for the local economies and the local organizations when you can build something like that.
No, and definitely, seeing that impact in the female game, and just bringing that prestige up. As a proud Edmontonian, people know my story in terms of love the city so much that I would commute down to Red Deer during my time at Hockey Alberta, because again, I love the city, and again, why it brought me back to Hockey Edmonton, and I love the game. So again, that anything that we can do here to really amplify the game, and the benefits of it is definitely good. And I like how you hit on the head, being part of something bigger. We talk about how hockey builds a community, and again, you see that not only just on the players on the ice, but the families as well, and just being part of that community, welcoming, bringing people in, and again, you make those lifelong friends, not only on the ice but off the ice. As somebody who is well versed in the game, you've lots of experience in the game, and such. What are you seeing in the game? And I know we touched a little bit about that at the very beginning, but what other trends are you seeing in the female game here that really align with what the Female Hockey Alliance is doing? And again, like I said, you've hit on some of those important factors of why it's important to participate, for female participation just as a whole. But if there's anything else there that you want to hit on for those benefits.
I think that there certainly is growth that we're seeing, not just in numbers of players participating, but I think we're seeing growth in elite level female hockey across the board. So we've seen expansion at the number of AA teams, for instance, in U13, 15, and 18, and even AAA teams in the province. And I think we're going to continue to see that expansion. Many of the partner organizations that we work with across the province are interested in putting in expansion bids so that they can host more AA teams. So I think you're seeing that interest there from female hockey players really wanting to push into that high performance space. And I think we're starting to see it at younger levels as well, which is really interesting, because of course you can't sustain the top of a pyramid if you don't feed the base, right? And so we'll be looking to, there's now a AA program at U11, which is more regionalized than what the province offers at higher ages. But certainly, I think we're going to be in a position to be able to field an all-female AA team next year in Hockey Edmonton's pool and help out with that initiative of getting the number of teams that we're interested in having. So that's it becomes an earlier signal to individuals that this is really a space that they can push. I think there's also more to be done. And frankly, I would see it again as part of a sort of 5-year success plan to really reach out and grow their recruitment at the really young ages in that sort of U7, U9 space. And particularly in players and families and spaces where maybe hockey isn't the first thing that they think of as a place for sport and development with their young players. I think there's a lot of that outreach, that needs to be done, not just in the female side, but certainly, of course, my interest is in the female side. Growing that diversity and access, I think, is something that's really important.
The FHA, or Female Hockey Alliance, is relatively new, launched in 2023. I think it's fair, if you're human, it's fair to set goals. I'm curious if you guys have set goals, if you've reached those goals, and if there's any goals going forward that you're trying to reach, or is the main goal just trying to recruit as many female athletes as possible and just try and make it the most fun for them.
Yeah, no, I think certainly there are goals that we have. They may be slightly less formalized than I would like them to be, at this space, because as I'm sure when you're building something, often the attention is preoccupied by a bit of the build at the beginning, and that's exactly where we are. Right, to have gone from 170 athletes last year to 750 this year it's a big it's a big scale of growth, right? And so there was a lot of just working to get ready to make sure that we could onboard and provide that. But I think certain goals that we would have. We know that there are about 1,200 players, 1,200 female players in the city. We would like to see having, the majority of those in the Female Hockey Alliance. That would put us on pace with being one of the largest organizations in the city, providing minor hockey or providing hockey, and would put us on par with roughly the size of Girls Hockey Calgary. I'd like to see some expansion in some of the elite teams that we offer. I'd certainly like to see that our growth and recruitment at that U7 level reaches out and gets much more significant than the probably about 30 players that we have right now at that level. And I think there's a lot of very young female players. They just happen to be sitting in their communities right now. And so part of what we need to do is to work with those communities to help gather up those female players. Having a female hockey tournament within 5 years that I think is, sort of rivals the fun and experience of Wickfest, or that at least is launched and sort of has that growth potential, is something that is really important. And I think sort of amassing a really extensive network of friends, partners, sponsors, funders. That's something that sometimes hockey organizations maybe don't do as well, or maybe it's work that exists behind the scenes. And I think, that's work that's really should be celebrated. Your partners, your sponsors, your funders, your friends who are helping you deliver all of this, whether it's a physio clinic that's helping your athletes or someone who's helping you find ice. Those relationships really should be celebrated. And I think that that's another goal that we have, is really making sure that we're doing that very well.
Perfect. All righty. So yeah, I think with time here, one last question, and I think that's the big question for everybody that is watching and listening to us. If you're a female athlete, how can you join the Female Hockey Alliance? And then we'll address a couple of the other people as well. So.
Yeah. So probably the best things to do would to be reach out to our website, which is femalehockeyalliance.ca, or find us on social media, both Facebook and Instagram, at official EFHA. We do have places and opportunities for players to join at this point. As I said, we have a Learn to Play team that we'll be launching, and so we'll be able to take players, I would say anywhere between about the ages of 11 up to 18 if they are interested in coming out, trying the game, coming out and joining this Learn to Play initiative. There will be other initiatives that we run through the year, and so staying connected to our social media would be the way to find those. If you are a U7 player, so if you have a very tiny age 4, 5, or 6 daughter who would like to play hockey, we have a space for them to be able to play. We can onboard them pretty much anytime through the season at our U7 space. So please reach out to the contact information on our website about onboarding a U7 player. And stay tuned to any of the initiatives that we advertise on our social media.
Perfect. And so hopefully there's that generation that has either kind of getting to the finalization of their playing career, or that have been out of the game and are inspired to come back. So if you're interested in coaching, you mentioned that. How can people get in touch with you to coach female coaches?
Absolutely. So, and I've just actually been talking to a few female coaches who have been away from Alberta and are coming back, and they're interested in how they get involved. And so we're trying to find the right teams to onboard them with. So there's a couple of options. We do have a coach expression of interest form on our website. We also, by the way, have a volunteer expression of interest form on our website. So if there are individuals who maybe aren't interested in an on ice or a close to on ice role, but are interested in working more with our board, those opportunities are certainly available, and you can fill out our volunteer expression of interest. Otherwise, probably the quickest way is just to email info@femalehockeyalliance.ca. Tell us who you are, what you're looking for and to do, and that's sort of a direct way to reach out to us.
Perfect. And finally, you just hit on it a few minutes ago, but there's a great opportunity for people to partner up with the Female Hockey Alliance and really invest in the community and the growth in the female game. How do people get involved in that sphere?
Absolutely. I direct them to the same email and sources. So we have, as I said, about 750 players. If you imagine that those 750 players have 2 parents each, right? All of a sudden, we start to become a pretty big network, and we have a very successful history, although a short one, but certainly a successful history working with sponsors, funders, partners. I want to make sure that I say a big thank you to Local 488, which is the Alberta Pipe Fitters Union. They've been a staunch supporter of us from the get-go. Scotiabank, Brewhouse, lots of other partners and sponsors who've worked with us over the years. And so we are looking for any of the ways that, and of course Hockey Edmonton, the City of Holden, thank you for their ag complex, and for plugging into this idea that was probably seemed a little strange when it first came to them. So reach out, and we are happy to find spaces and places that we can onboard friends and partners and find the right relationships that work for both of us.
Sweet. Aimee, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. Phenomenal guest, and we really, really appreciate it. Best of luck going forward, and maybe we'll have you on in a later episode.
All right. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day.
Likewise.
Thanks,
Take her
Aimee.
easy. There you go. Not bad, eh?
Yeah, no, exactly. I think it's a great initiative, and kind of, the female, like she said, the Female Hockey Alliance. We've got the foundation, the community level, and into their elite program that pyramids up to our junior Oilers. You had Joel here a couple of weeks ago as the head coach of that team, and again, just the female game here and the female participants we have in Edmonton are really, really significant here. So again, in the Female Hockey Alliance is a really good cultivator of talent, and with the folks they have there in their development side and such. So again, a very great program if you want to reach whatever level you want to, and such. And I think this is also showing the investment that that this province has in hockey and the female side of it. Like I said, I was at Hockey Alberta when they did a review of female hockey, and some of the things that came out of that is the focus on female specific coaching, and dedicating a staff to it. Kendall was one of the four founders of the female hockey programming in Hockey Alberta, and again, we see a lot of that great investment here and kind of bringing it down to the grassroots. The AFHL, as Joel had talked about, that was one of the initiatives that came out of there. So again, a lot of investment, and you're seeing the successes of that. And I like what she said about seeing people in the places you want to be. So I go back to my time again at Hockey Alberta, and for those that have never been at the office, we have binders of team pictures from our Team Alberta programs. So at the male side, we have for U16, it's the Alberta Cup, the Pioneer Cup, from those way back in the day, potentially Tommy Gazzola's era there. And again, we also have a female challenge program. And these programs, and we'll talk about this in the spring here and how they develop players into the Hockey Canada programs of excellence and national team programs. But you could see during the first phases of the female challenge program, it was all male coaches just because, again, that was who was coaching. And then as you flip through the books, you start to see female assistant coaches. And then you go down a few more years and you're seeing the, some female head coaches there. And now to the point where they are having, all female teams. And one of the more exciting things is, or most exciting things I should say is not only all female teams, coaching staffs I should say, but also as part of those programs, coaching staffs get paired up with coach mentors. And now you're seeing female coach mentors coming back and giving back to the game. So again, we're seeing that growth in just that leadership in the female program. And again, we have a lot of great people in the game that are giving back. And I think you're seeing that even, as they're coming back from different opportunities. A lot of high-level athletes in our program are getting those scholarships and have been for a long time. Hundreds of females have come through our program and have gotten their education paid for. We had show favorite Greg Terry here on the program a few weeks ago. His daughter getting a full or a scholarship to University NCAA. So again, a lot of great opportunities, and the best part is those females are coming back and wanting to give back to the game.
Mm-hmm.
So again, that is really exciting. And it's funny because people tend to forget that we're still relatively close to that first generation of superstar female hockey players, the Cassie Campbells, the Haley Wickenheisers. It really still isn't that long since they were donning the maple leaf. And, now we're really starting to see the generation that watched them has gone to school and come back. Now that next generation who is watching, again, the Tessa Bonomes, the Shannon Sabadoses, they are coming back and now excited about the game. So like Aimee said, just that excitement and that continuation. And I think we're really into a point where we are seeing, a really steamrolling momentum for the female game and female sport participation as a whole.
Yeah, it's been awesome to see the growth of female hockey. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. It's very evident. You saw, what did you say? Year one they had 100 and so, and then it like quadruple. It was like 700. Like that's like substantial growth. Like you've got to be very happy with that. It's very evident, and it's here to stay. And it's awesome. You really got to think. And then Jessica Campbell, starting off the season, NHL, first female assistant coach in NHL history, like stuff like that. It's really cool.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think, bringing all those teams under one umbrella definitely helps. And I think, one of the things that Edmonton really has been a real hotbed of female hockey. I mean, for 30 years, we had the Girls Hockey Association, Edmonton Girls Hockey Association, that was really that foundational piece that helped get girls into the game. And again, that was kind of the predecessor to the Female Hockey Alliance. And again, they did some wonderful work to really get those females into the game. But you think as well, the Edmonton Chimos, a team that was dominant from about 15 years. They won provincial championship year after year after year, and 4 national championships. So again, that domination of hockey at the highest level during the time. So again, we had that success there, and hopefully, again, we do see some success as the PWHL grows, and hopefully we'll see some of those franchises down here in Edmonton and Calgary and in the west part of the country, because I think that need is there. We've also seen great female hockey players come through the program. One of the most famous ones, Shannon Sabados, one of our came through the Northeast Zone programs here, both the Eagles program as well as the Maple Leaf Athletic Club. Again, development-wise there, all the way to now just seeing Danielle Serdachny come through, and again, being the second overall pick in the PWHL draft. So just, again, we have this long history of female development in the city, and really a hotbed for the female game. And again, you can't, when you think of the female game and the success of the female game, I know we're on the West End here, but you look at where my office is on 124th. If I look right, you can almost see the University of Alberta. And again, one of the most dominant female programs with one of the best people in the game, Howie Draper, leading that. The University of Alberta Pandas, again, since 1997, when the sport was, a sanctioned sport and youth sport, 8 national championships and 14 conference championships. You talk about domination, and again, the female growth and the female success in Edmonton and area. Again, I think that Edmonton has been a leader very well in the female game. And again, like I said, it's just exciting to see the opportunities. And again, we see the success as we talk about hockey being a builder of great people. Sport in general, you talk about how leaders in organizations, one of the most common traits is they're in the team. They played in a team atmosphere sport. And again, like we said, hockey builds great people. And again, one of those truly culturally iconic things for a Canadian is hockey.
Yeah, well said. Well said, Jeremy. This is the Hockey Edmonton Show. I'm YouTube Trev. That is Jeremy Haluschak. And this has been a very, very good, productive episode so far. We're just about almost finished here. We'll dive into the final thoughts. But Jeremy, you're absolutely bringing it. And for the final words, I guess, the last segment of the show, take her away.
Oh, wow. Just putting a lot of pressure on me here. I mean, I can't do it without the good leadership of Trevor here. But at the end of the day, I think, as you've heard from Aimee, and again, not just Edmonton as a whole, but again, this program goes all out across many networks. There's definitely options there for the female game. So again, head on down to, if you're in Edmonton area, Female Hockey Alliance, like Aimee had said. Again, reach out. If you're not in the Edmonton area, reach out to your local minor hockey association. A lot of great associations have great programming there. Again, if you are interested in coaching and giving back to that program, and again, it may not necessarily be just coaching a female team, but if you're want to coach just a hockey team, I don't want to stereotype per se, but if you have a child in hockey and you've played the game and you believe you can contribute, there are ways, definitely a lot of ways to get into the coaching realm here. And again, like I said, hopefully bringing on a guest here to share her story about getting into the game. But again, hockeyalberta.ca has a lot of coaching opportunities there that will, again, and some of them are female specific, that encourage females to get in the game, take the barriers away from getting in the game, and just being in be it financially or as well, just being in that group of like-minded females who want to learn to coach and give back to the game as a whole. And again, like I said, as a whole, there's many ways to give back to the game. We talked about it a few episodes ago, and as Aimee highlighted, again, the ways to volunteer and partner as well. Again, this is a great opportunity for those organizations that are looking to expand their reach. We have a lot of opportunities there with our programming, and the Female Hockey Alliance is definitely one of them. So again, a lot of opportunities to get involved in the game, get involved with Hockey Edmonton and any of its organizations. Again, head on down to playhockeyedmonton.ca for more information on some of those opportunities. And again, we still, like Aimee said, we are still have opportunities for participants to play the game. So again, hopefully in the first month and a half of this program, almost time has flown by, really, and such as I look back there, and it's. Hopefully it's motivated you to participate in the game and get your child in the game, because it's a wonderful game. And again, we're starting to see the the season really going on here, that buzz there. I know the Oilers start hasn't been well. Hopefully when this airs on Saturday, it'll be 2-2, but right
hoping.
now, the Oilers have won one, so that's a good start. But again, if there's that buzz there and you're watching the games and then your kids want to participate, again, we have those opportunities still. Again, learn to play programming and first shift programming, we still have opportunities there. So again, lots of opportunity to get involved in the game in low commitment and low investment opportunities. So again, playhockeyedmonton.ca, as Trevor had said, and there's the first time I've smacked the microphone. And I'm surprised. Again, by the end of the year, this might be just flying over on the side. 'Cause again, as you can see, I'm a hand talker.
Yeah, that's okay, man. That's good.
And such. But as Trevor said, if you have questions, comments, want to hear something on the show, office at hockeyedmonton.ca, and in the subject line, the Hockey Edmonton Show, and we'll definitely look through those. Again, we want this to be, again, for the people as a whole. And if you have any questions about minor hockey in the city, we definitely want to hear from you.
Awesome. That's a great call to action. Jeremy, as always, you absolutely brought it today. Episode 7. That's crazy. Almost 2 months we've been doing this.
Yep.
Feels like it doesn't feel that long at all. That's weird.
No, exactly. It flies through, and it does. I think again, hearing the positive comments from not only people around the studio, but the people that we run across. Again, hopefully everybody is seeing value in this and learning something about the game that you might not necessarily know about. So again, and even just different perspectives as a whole. Again, next week we're going to be bringing on one of my friends who works at Hockey Alberta, very passionate about coaching, and it'll be a really good show for sure, and such. So again, I think that hopefully this is a good program for people to learn about the game and get interested about the game.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it any better, Jeremy. That pretty well wraps it up. So if you've stuck along this, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Huge shout out to Aimee. She's very busy and she was able to make time for us. We really, really appreciate that. And as Jeremy said, drop a comment down below, leave a like. This is the Hockey Edmonton Show, episode 7. And we'll see you on episode 8.